Game number 21 for the Boston Celtics as they head to Indiana to take on the Pacers. And this is the Celtics pregame report. I'm your host, Josue Pavone. My guest is my sidekick on the Garden Report of CLNS Media. He is Mike Petraglia, and he joins us right now. What's up, Trizzy Trags? My dog.
What up, my dog?
How you doing? It's been a while.
Yeah, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good. You know, it's the same old family tradition, hanging out, staying up all night. You know, it was good. Good times.
Yeah, and I had good food and didn't overeat. I think the key to Thanksgiving, I really believe this, is not overeating. Because I think too many people overeat and get sick and then, miss the next day because they're still digesting. I did not do that. I had plenty of turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and cranberry, and great pecan pie. So I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always tell myself not to go too crazy with the overeating, but I did it again, went into a food coma. But I'm feeling good. You know, days afterwards.
That's good. I think the Celtics are going to be a little bit better for that loss on Wednesday night. I really believe that, Josue. I know you're going to probably get to that, but I think that loss in Miami was a good wake-up call for them and kind of takes the pressure off because I believe what Brad Stevens said after the game in Miami on Wednesday night, we were not as good as a 16-game winning streak. I believe that, and I think now his team can get back to more normalcy. I don't know about you, but that's how I feel.
All right. Okay, Trags. Well, we'll get to that later. I did have a question right there, so you kind of stole it right there, Trags. But that's all right. We'll get to it in a little bit. But let's talk about the Pacers first. I mean, the Pacers enter tonight's game with a record that's slightly above 500. I mean, Victor Oladipo is leading the team in scoring with 22.9 points a night. He's been tremendous. I mean, he's shooting 45.8% from the field. Not quite Paul George per se, but he's pretty damn close. I mean, this isn't the same Oladipo that we saw last year when he was in OKC. And that's the Oladipo that they certainly could have used alongside Russell Westbrook. Why do you think he's been able to turn things around this year?
Probably because I think he is not in the shadow of Russell Westbrook. Look, there are some players that are not comfortable playing along certain personalities. They're afraid to ruffle their feathers. And I don't think it takes a genius to realize by the body language of Russell Westbrook, if you do something wrong on the court, you may not get the ball for a while if you're playing alongside Russell Westbrook. But at Indiana, I think Oladipo has a little more, he's empowered a little bit more to take shots, create his own shot, and I think there's a comfort zone there. That's why I think they're a little bit more comfortable, or he's a little bit more comfortable in his basketball persona.
You know, Trax, one player who I thought was ready to make that huge stride this year was Myles Turner. I mean, I really like this kid in the front court. He's been able to, I thought he'd be able to make that leap this year, but unfortunately, he's only averaging 13.6 points. He is pulling down 7.6 rebounds, but was I expecting way too much out of Turner this year? Or do you think he's still destined to become one of the league's premier big men?
I still think he's destined to become one of the league's best big men. I wouldn't, worry too much about where Myles is at this point of the season. Well, look, we're approaching the quarter point. And I think there's a lot of growth for somebody like that to still go through. And if you look at his numbers within the team, he's still right there up there with Oladipo and Bogdanovic. He's averaging, like you said, 13.6. And he's averaging 7.6 rebounds per game. The numbers are there. And I think, again, he's a kind of young player who, as the season progresses, will get younger in his skin and more comfortable in his own skin. And I don't think you have to worry about that. I still think he's, one of their three best players.
This edition of the Celtics pregame report is brought to you by DraftKings.com. Head over to DraftKings.com and use the promo code CLNS for a free sign-up with your first deposit and for your share at $10,000 in total prizes. You can win some serious cash. Head over to DraftKings.com, use the promo code CLNS, and get yourself paid. Trags, like you alluded to right at the top of the show, the Celtics winning streak did come to an end before Thanksgiving, and I guess now everyone can focus solely on basketball. Were you surprised to see this come to an end in Miami, or did you think that they actually had a shot at reaching 19 straight, which is the franchise record?
Sure, I thought they had a shot. Had they won on Wednesday night, I think the schedule set up favorably for them to make a run at it. But obviously, when you saw that bank shot go in, with about 3.5 minutes to go, you realized it wasn't going to be their night. And if you recall, after that bank shot did go in, next possession, Al Horford gets fouled and misses 2 free throws. That was kind of a message to me that, it was not meant to be that night. When you take a look at Dion Waiters and what Waiters was doing all night to the Celtics, he had their number. And I just think, when you think about the way Waiters was playing, it just wasn't their night. So I wasn't surprised that they fell him. Miami, I got to tell you, Josue, Miami is an underrated team, and they're going to be a very up-and-down team all season long.
Yeah, well, you talk about Dion Waiters. I mean, that's one guy who's, when you talk about some of the most inconsistent players, or streaky players, I should say, he's pretty much on top of the list. I mean, when he's on, he is on. He's tough to defend.
Well, and if I remember correctly, he was 0 for 6 the night before, or couple of nights before, and just was struggling to get his shot to go down. And he came back, and he's the kind of player who can give Celtics fits because he doesn't have any memory. He doesn't let a bad night or a bad period in a game, a bad phase or a bad part of the game get him down. It won't affect the way he plays the game. And those are the kind of players that give you trouble.
Those 2 free throws by Al Horford certainly stood out to me at the end of the game. But another thing that stood out to me was the 2 big turnovers by 2 of the youngest players on this Celtics team. Huge turnover from Jason Tatum, another by Jaylen Brown. I mean, it just goes to show you that these 2 are still young, they're still learning, and they're going to make those type of mistakes in those crucial situations.
Absolutely. And anybody who thinks that Jason Tatum is going to go scot-free through even his first 20, 25 games is incredibly naive, because even with his talent at 19 years of age, there's going to be an adjustment to the NBA game, and NBA teams are going to start to scout to you and start to scout to your weaknesses and attack your weaknesses. They're very, very good at that. And these college programs don't pay people that we know of to go out there and actively, scout a particular player's weakness. Whereas in the NBA, you have paid professional scouts going all over the country, scouting you day and night, breaking down film 24 hours a day to attack your weaknesses. And I think that's, what we're going to wind up seeing with someone like Jason Tatum. That's not to say that he isn't still an extraordinary talent, an extraordinary offensive talent. And what I like about Jason Tatum so far, Josue, is his confidence remains very high. And he's in an environment, a winning environment, that's going to support that confidence. And, with teams like Philadelphia, one of the things, and this very well, how I've just ripped apart the 76ers organization. They just throw a lot of young players together and expect them to kind of gel. Well, that's not the way the Celtics do it. They have a good blend of veterans and young, talented players. The reason you do that is so that if a young player goes through a stretch or has a bad turnover late in the game that might cost a team a game, the players are there to support him and say, don't worry about it, Rook. We're there to, we got your back, and let's get them the next time.
All right, Trags, who wins tonight? Give me a prediction.
I think the Celtics get it done at Indiana. This is, one of those games, I think, on the schedule that people might call a trap game, because it's a stretch of 6 games and 6 home games in 7 games overall, and this is the one road game in that 7-game stretch. And I think Brad Stevens will have the team prepared to mentally to say, hey, look, we got a 5-game homestand coming up. Let's head into it with some momentum. Let's be prepared. Let's have our energy. And granted, it's on the second night of a back-to-back with Orlando. But I think because this team has rest and rehabilitation and preparation high at the top of its priority list, I think they'll be ready to go. And I think they're the better team in Indiana. They win it.
All right, he is Mike Petraglia. Find him on Twitter at Trags. Give him a follow, as he's got you covered when it comes to the Boston Celtics and, of course, also the New England Patriots. But he's also a great follow for all you Celtics fans out there. Trags, I'll see you soon, man. I appreciate you for stopping by.
Anytime, Josue. Have a good one.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Celtics pregame report. Make sure you check out the Celtics postgame show on clnsmedia.com. You can call in toll free at 347-215-7771 right after the game to get on the air. Or just like this show, you can listen to it on demand on the CLNS Media mobile app. Weekday shows air on the Celtics Newsfeed channel, on iTunes, Stitcher, and the CLNS Media mobile app. For today's Boston Celtics pregame report with Josue Pavone, this is Josue Pavone signing off.